Texas National Guard Army Band.
Well, it's crazy for us to talk about Thanksgiving without talking about the first Thanksgiving and what was on the table. And they probably didn't have that instant mashed potatoes or, you know, anything microwavable. I had to get to the nuts and bolts of really what's there. And joining me is, in my opinion, one of the experts in the region when it comes to
thank you.
New England type food. Right?
Yeah.
And it's Jason Maguire from Clambakes Etc. They have their awesome trucks that says "Get baked with us" on the side.
Get baked with us on it. You'll remember it. It's good marketing.
Yes, it's really good marketing. You must sell 1 million T-shirts.
We do. We do.
It's awesome, and it's sort of a family tradition. My whole family has sort of been working there and doing things with you.
Doing a wedding for your daughter.
My daughter's wedding,
yeah.
which you said my daughter-in-law. My daughter. It's
daughter.
a big, yeah, which means I have to pay for it. Okay. So anyway, the clam bake, New England pit-style clam bake.
Yes.
You can probably imagine that was part of like the tradition in the early days, right?
I think from what I've read is the Native Americans in the area, that was a traditional way that they cooked the food. And then when the first settlers came and the Native Americans were helping them get through their first couple of winters, I think they kind of adapted it and took it on. And then every wave of immigration that came into the United States has a different spin on it. So like our clam bake, we do it with linguiça, so it's a Portuguese spin on it, which is great. But I've seen it done with brown bread and onions and all sorts of stuff. And baked beans is a traditional thing. So there's many different ways of doing it, but it goes back way, way, way back.
And this guy here, let me tell you how old school he is. He makes his own wine, and in the bathtub you're stomping grapes?
Yeah,
like
you know.
No.
We've got machines that do it for us now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
But, you know, I mean, people who are outside of New England, they call you guys because they're like, hey, I want that traditional New England feel, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We do a ton of weddings, a ton of just family reunions, beach association, neighborhood parties, stuff like that. And it's just a great way for people from all over the country come and kind of see how we do things here. So we've had people come from Hawaii that see it and they're like, oh, you're doing a luau and a pig roast. And we're like, kind of. It's our version of it,
right.
And people from the South where they're used to like low country boils, what they call them. You're doing a low country boil, kind of with our spin on it, know?
Right.
So every culture has kind of their own way of an in-ground bake, so to speak. So it's kind of neat.
And here up on the roof deck on this crisp fall morning,
it's a perfect
beautiful
day. Perfect.
He brings the hot chowder, and everybody's listening to Livingston Taylor eating the chowder. It was like
what a day.
Heaven.
What a day.
It was
and overlooking the water. I mean, beautiful.
Yes, I know. And so, a New England style clam bake, because I've seen you do it live.
Yes.
Right. But you dig a pit. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
You dig in a pit, you throw in. Tell me how it goes down.
So we've tried to avoid digging the pit. So over the years of doing it, I've been doing it for about 20 years now. And we used to do it the real old-fashioned way with digging a pit and rocks. And now we found that we can do it on the surface, and we use, instead of rocks that deteriorate after you use them a few times, we use cast iron ingots that we get from a local foundry. And those hold up better, and they also retain the heat better. So when you put the bed of seaweed on it, which creates the moisture that steams the food, it cooks that much quicker. So you don't need to dig the pit to retain the heat. And then you cover that with a tarp and catch all the steam, and that steam cooks the food over the course of, half an hour, 45 minutes. And then you pop it open, and it's like a smoky, briny flavor to it. It's just phenomenal.
Well, and the seaweed, yes, you see seaweed on the beach.
Yep.
You guys go to a seaweed farmer. And how do I know this? Because I was in the truck one day that actually went to go pick up bags.
The seaweed, yeah.
And I'm going, my God, this stuff is everywhere. These people are making a ton of money.
It doesn't get much more local than picking up bags of seaweed.
It's like an oxygen salesperson, I mean, but you get all your seaweed.
Yeah, it's just it's local rockweed is what we use, and that's a native species, so it's good, and it grows everywhere, so it's easy to come by. And the local guy, hey, we need 12 bags of seaweed. He puts them in potato sacks, and we pick them up off his front lawn and send him a check. It works out great.
But it goes to the authenticity of the event, and really how you would do it on the beach, and kind of like, I mean, it really is a really an incredible taste of New England.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to do too, because we're on site all day doing, burning the fire. You get a burn for 2.5 hours. So we're there all day and we get to know the guests and the customers, and so it's kind of fun for us too, because we explain it to them and what we're doing and why we're doing it that way. So it's nice.
And by the way too, I mean, you guys have a lot of partners within the company, like your anchor tent company, and like you bring in desserts from some local bakeries and things like that. There's a great relationship between all of the in Osterville Fish Company.
The Cape and the surrounding area is a very close-knit community, and then you take into just the hospitality industry, which is even closer. And nobody really competes because there's just so much going on. So we all try to help each other out. So we offer a donut bar. We get it from Cape Cod Donuts down the street from us, and a lot of the appetizers we do. We take bits and pieces from people that are local bakeries with the bread and stuff like that. So it's kind of nice.
I mean, it is really cool, and seeing firsthand people's reactions to lobster when they're not from the area, it is quite, when you actually think about it, they call them bugs, because it was once looked at by the sailors, and back in the day, those were bugs. It was like cockroaches.
Yeah, and it was peasant food.
Right, peasant food.
Yeah.
And people would see them on the rocks. That's why Bug Light out there, is called Bug Light, because the lobster should be all over the rocks.
Yeah.
And, it was peasant food.
Yeah.
But looking at it from an outsider standpoint, I mean, again, it's not the 1800s yet. It's like you see them on Red Lobster commercials all the time. But, like, people are surprised often when they see steamers and oysters. And
I think there's a stark difference between ordering a lobster and actually getting the lobster in front of you. When you're ordering the lobster, you're probably thinking of Red Lobster, and then you can get the meat out easy enough. When they actually get it in front of them, sometimes they're a little overwhelmed. So we got to help them out a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. So we'll do the hard work, like splitting the tail and cracking the claws, but they still got to get the knuckle meat out.
Gee, I have no problem cleaning that bug clean.
You going for the body meat and everything?
I go. Look. I mean,
there it is.
The way the price of lobster, you gotta
savor that. Yeah.
Full advantage. 8 is my record in one sitting.
You're
8
kidding
lobsters.
Me. I think you can break it.
No, that was senior week of college. Our cameraman, Joe, probably thinks it.
Oh, he knows a little bit about it? There you go.
You know what? In the spring, before you kick off your season,
let's
do a challenge.
We'll wait until the lobster prices drop a little
bit. Okay, that makes sense. Jason Maguire, Clambakes Etc. Thank you for coming.
Hey, thanks a lot for
Happy Thanksgiving, you and your family.
Happy Thanksgiving, yeah.
And we can't help but have this conversation without including our good friends at Clambakes Etc.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Good stuff. First annual Plymouth Rock TV Chowder Speed Eating Contest.
Where's the chowder from?
It's sponsored by Clambakes Etc. out of St. With some smack talk going on about speed eating, and this guy thought he could throw some shade my way. And this is Joe Matarazzo.
Chuck Nilasek.
And are you ready? Say your mark. Set, go. The Michael Phelps of chowder.
I had more potatoes.
I'm like Usain Bolt of clams.
There you go. Got a little on you there. That was good. Congratulations.
Ludacris going in on the verse, cause I never been defeated and I won't stop now.